Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of the Power to You podcast. I'm your host, Kainoa, and I just want to let you know that if you're here today listening to this, I appreciate you. I believe in you, and I'm here for you. I hope that whatever value you can find in this, that it helps you become a little bit more for yourself, for the people you care about, the relationships, your career choices, and just overall just being a good person. I'm not saying that I'm a perfect man or that I I'm the best at this specific topic or anything. It's just things that I learn and the things that I'm learning currently. I have this obligation, or I just have this urge to want to share it with other people, and being able to talk on it gives me the chance to really understand it more clearly. And at the end of the day, the Power to You podcast, I'm dedicating it to my kids and my future generation of family members that comes after me, in hopes that one day they can listen to this and just learn from me, hear me, and just be with me in one way or another. With that being said, if you are someone that is, searching for a sign to make a change, or you're just tired of your current state of mind and you just want more for yourself, you're in the right place. This podcast is designed to kind of build people like you and I, to challenge ourselves, to understand ourselves, to learn, and just grow into the versions of ourselves we seek to become. The title of today's message is What's in Your Garden? What's in your garden? And our garden, is if what I'm talking about, is our personal growth and our success. The meaning of our growth and success is solely up to you on what you want to label it. Before we get started, I just want to start with a quote that I always share with my daughter, and it's, comparison is the thief of all joy. Again, comparison is the thief of all joy. People tend to forget, how far they've come because they're comparing their journey to someone else's. You can't really compare your journey to someone else's because you might be in a different season than them. You probably are going through something totally different than what other people are going through, and vice versa. They're going through something different than you. And the unique thing about our lives is that we all might be going through different parts of life, different walks of life, but when we can come together and share our experiences, there's something about it that we can relate to and apply it to ourselves to either make us better or bitter. So the power of choice is always going to be up to you, but you have to be the one to decide whether you want it to be um, something that makes you better, or again, like I said, better. So a lot of times, for example, for me, like social media, when I was growing up, it wasn't too much. It wasn't that big of a deal as much it is now, but I would say in my after I graduated, so maybe like 18 through 21, that was like the peak of my insecurities, I would like to say. And so with those insecurities came a lot of things like jealousy, just unhappiness, anxiety, because I'm just comparing myself and like what I'm doing to what other people are doing, and seeing their highlight reels and just thinking that they're doing so much better than me, or they have this over me, and why can't it be me, and all that bullshit. And I truly don't believe that anymore. I've gone through enough to understand that all the highlight reels and shit doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter because most times people are sharing their highlight reels, but not really knowing. You don't really know what the struggles they've been through or that they're currently going through, and it might even be a false persona. So you just never know. You never know. Your environment is your soil. Not all soil is going to be right for you. Just for your garden, the soil that you use, it needs to be something that is going to help you grow. And like I said, not all soil is going to be good for you. There's going to be people that share different viewpoints. They might be on a different journey than you are. and that's okay. You know, you don't have to hate on them for having different views. You don't have to, talk down on them or talk bad about them because they have different views, but you can just let them, like, you just need to know what your boundaries is and just separate yourself from the people that isn't going to help you grow, and then start finding people that actually will, because there's a lot of people in this world that will either want to see you fail or will want to see you succeed. And I've been blessed enough to see both sides of the spectrum of people that only wanted to see me because they wanted to see me fail. And that's okay too. That's okay too, because not everyone, not this whole world is not perfect. But when you can start surrounding yourself with people, and I've been blessed to have people around me that has been such a blessing, and they've given their time, their energy, their encouragement, their love, their care, all these good things to help, you know, the seed that I planted, the soil that they are, the environment that I'm in. I'm just very picky on the people that I surround myself with. I'm kind to everybody, but I'm loyal to a few. Kind to everybody, but I'm just loyal to a few. And that's not to say that makes me a bad person or a good person. That's just what I am. And that's what I choose to live by, just to keep things simple, because the only thing I have to offer people really is my time. And my time, I want to be able to give it to the people that really matter, that really want to see me win, that really want to be there for me, care for me, love me, just as much as I want to do the same for them. So just being self aware of your time and your energy and where you're sharing that plays a factor. You have the power to plant the seed of success, or you have the power to plant the seed of excuses. That is up to you. Which brings me to point number one: consistency. Planting the seed. Consistency is the act of planting seeds daily, regardless of how small the actions might seem. There are some daily habits that people like to do. The only thing that I can really vouch for is things like journaling, working out, and reading. The other thing that I like to do is my devotions, my Bible study. Doing these things has been a huge factor for me. With the journaling, I get to write my thoughts down and just kind of reflect on that. Working out just gets my physical. I just put myself through tremendous amount of stress and pain by pushing myself past my limits and just trying to achieve a little bit more than my comfort zone allows me to. And then the just practicing of new skills, like I try to read and I try to learn new things, try to understand different perspectives, and just get a better understanding of how people think, how people uh, react, and just being a better communicator. And if I can understand people, I can help people. If I can communicate with people, I can help people. Understanding and communication is going to be my biggest two things that I always speak about. Is because if I don't understand, I can't help. If I can't communicate, I can't help. Simple as that. And so, daily habits, whatever it is that you like to do, whatever workout you like to do, if you don't really necessarily journal, but you prefer to talk it over with someone that you care about that is in your inner circle, that's totally fine. Finding out ways to build daily habits that will help you improve. It's just the watering can that waters your plants every day. You need to be able to not only just plant the seed, but have the right tools and things necessary to help your plant grow, your seed grow. So make sure that you're doing everything that you can to build new habits, to build better habits, and understand what your current habits are that is either improving you or tearing you down or just keeping you at a standstill. You just got to be self aware of these things. I think it's really important to know that. The compound effect of small and consistent efforts over time is crucial. For example, my running journey, I've been running, I can't give you the exact date, but I think roughly about a year ago, me and a good brother of mine, we've been running, practicing. We started off with 1 mile. Yeah, we started off with about 1 mile, and that was brutal in itself. One, I never used to run, and two, I was fat as, yeah, I was just fat. And so I was out of shape, didn't like to run. All I did was just eat a bunch, lift heavy weights, and then called it a day. So when I had to challenge myself to do something that took my breath away and it just ached my body the next day, the next couple of days, it really challenged my mind. And that's what I really enjoyed the most about, or that's the thing that I enjoy most about running, is that it challenges my mind more so than my body. Because if the physical pain can push my mind to think that I need to stop, then I know my mind is weak, which it was. And so we did 1 mile. I think it was 2 or 3 times a week. Next thing you know, those 2 or 3 times a week turned into four. Then it turned into five. And then the 1 mile turned into two. The two turned into three. The three ended up turning into something that I never thought I would be doing on the casual 3 to 5 times a week. And that was crazy. And over time, the three turned into 5 miles. And I never ran a 5 mile before. So that was the most craziest thing to me. And I thought that was the cap of all my limits. Then I told myself, what happens if I run 10? What happens if I run 10? I've met some really good people in my life where they run 10 miles per day just casual. And I thought that was crazy when I was doing my 1 to 2 miles. And so being able to now currently be running, 5 miles or 10 miles, it just seems like a normal day. It just seems like something that we just do rather than just something crazy of what I could be doing. And so, I think it's important to know that the journey is not going to be fast. The progress takes a while. It takes a while. And so you need to understand that as long as you're consistent in your journey, and this was only a year ago. This was only a year ago where I started running, like actually, and then taking full ownership and making sure that I stick to it. Now I don't have my running partner anymore, but having these guys in my group, they're only one call away. They're only one call away, and whenever I need them, I call them, and whenever they need me, they call me, and we hold each other accountable, and we do what we got to do, and we stay consistent in our journey, knowing that our goal is much bigger than our feeling. Yeah. So just be sure to know that your consistency is going to be a huge factor in any goal that you choose to achieve. So let me ask you this: what happens when you're currently hurting your ability to grow by the habits that you have now? So to rephrase it, what habits do you currently have that is hurting your ability to grow pretty much? And some habits that I had that was really messing with me in my goal for running and being able to be more healthy was my drinking. I used to drink, I used to party a lot, and um, my eating. So the drinking and my habits of eating was just, I got overweight. It was crazy how big I was getting. Um, I was telling myself I was bulking, but really I was just getting fat. I was strong, but I was fat. I was out of shape. Couldn't put my shoes on without losing a breath. And yeah, the drinking was just out of control. Just partying and getting wasted for no reason. I don't know. It was fun. Don't get me wrong. Like being able to be in the moment with your friends and stuff, but it didn't really serve me the purpose of what I really wanted, which was to be healthy and to be able to have a better physique and just a better standing in my health. So I had to be aware of like where I actually was. I took a picture of myself at 223 pounds. I'm like 5'6". I'm not the tallest dude, but that's heavy. That's pretty fat. So um, when I took the picture and I saw what I saw, it didn't hit me right away. If I'm being honest, it didn't hit me right away where I could just jump into action. It took me a while. I think it took me like 3 to 4 months later before I actually started like talking it over with my friends and the people that was close to me and just letting them know like I wasn't really in a good spot, and I wanted to do some changes in my lifestyle and my habits. And yeah, they, like I said, when you have people that support you in everything you do, they'll help you figure out what you need and how they can help. And you got to be able to accept that help and be able to accept the criticism of what they're saying, and they're just being real and they're just being helpful. And you got to take it all, and you just got to suck it up, and you just got to do what you got to do and take the first step. Always, always the first step is the hardest, but I promise you, it's always the most rewarding, because fast forward a year later, I'm at I'm at the same weight as I was when I was fat, but at a much more better physique. I can run about 10 miles. I can lift heavy, and I'm more mobile and I'm more functionable. And I'm just proud of the journey that I have reached so far, but it's not over yet. It's not over yet. There's so much more that I can achieve, but just being consistent, it has helped so much, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be in this position. And that's why it tugs at my heart to want to share this with you, because I know that you probably put off your goal, or you've tried and it didn't work out, or something had happened and it got you off track, or you got distracted with something, or just life happens, and you feel as if the world was crumbling, or whatever reason. But what you need to understand is those are excuses. All of that is excuses. And if you continue to make those excuses and validate those excuses, you will always be in the same place as you are today. And if you want to see change, let me be your accountability partner to tell you change is only going to happen if you decide to take the first fucking step. So take it. I encourage you to think of one small habit that you can do every day to cultivate your own garden. Okay? There's a quote that, how did it go? It was, the seeds you plant today may not show results tomorrow, but they will grow if you keep tending to them. Something like that. I'm not too sure the actual quote itself, but the seeds you plant today may not show results tomorrow, but they will grow if you keep tending to them. So, yeah, you just got to keep doing what you're doing, do the best that you can, and just put your best foot forward and keep your mind on the goal. Just keep your mind on the goal. Don't worry about anybody else. Just do what you got to do. And in return, all the good things that you can do for yourself will be a good reflection on how you can help others. But you can't help anybody without knowing how to help yourself first. Which brings me to point number 2, discipline. Discipline is my favorite thing, and discipline is tending to your garden. Discipline is doing the work even when they don't feel like it. If you don't feel like it, it's just showing up to water the garden when it's tough. It doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter what you have to do today. If it is important, if it is part of your goal, if it is something that you find a purpose for, your discipline will get you there. Because there is no excuse that matters more than you being able to do it. What is your garden going through in this season? Are you starting something new? You dealing with a specific issue? Adjusting your environment? What is it? What your garden is going through in this season is completely different than someone else's. But that's always a good thing, because whether you are someone that is in a different season of growth, it gives you the opportunity to know and understand that someone else has gone through something similar. Maybe not the same, but something similar. And in that similarity, you're able to dissect, understand, and take away something that will help you implement what they've done or what they didn't do to your current season, and see how your plant grows. see how your plan grows. All the things that we choose to do in our life is going to be dedicated by our discipline. Our discipline is going to be the very reason that we get ahead. It really is. We need to stop complaining about the struggles we are facing because let me tell you, that doesn't do anything for our growth. I promise you, it doesn't do anything. Our ability to take action will. Action will always outweigh and outdo our excuses that we choose to make. I don't know anyone that ever made an excuse that has gotten them ahead. All I ever known is people that made the decision to just do, to just go and do. Because even if they failed, they're much further and much more, what is the word? Educated? Not really educated, but someone that is more aware of their failures and what had happened in those failures and how they can adjust and learn and improve to make better decisions compared to someone that just makes excuses. They don't look for growth. They really don't. All they do is look for either someone to blame, a circumstance to blame, or pretty much anything that doesn't have to do with them. They blame everyone else besides them. And that is the reason most people are at where they're at. And that's the truth. And so, how many of us can relate to this? You know, back on my running journey, let me give you some excuses that people have shared with me, or even I've told myself, or I've told um, people that held me accountable. Is I can't go running today because it's too hot. I can't go running today. Look, it's raining today. I can't go running today. I'm too tired. I had to work all day. I can't go running today because X, Y, and fucking Z. You can make a whole list of reasons why you can't run today. Or you can make a whole list of reasons why I can run today. And it depends on how you're going to be thinking, what your mindset is going to be like. And that is solely up to you. The key word in discipline and what it does is that it forces you to create an option and not an excuse. Let me give you an example. Discipline will make you find the time. Discipline will make you find the energy. Discipline will make you do the very thing that you don't feel like doing. The key word here is make. Discipline will make you do this. Discipline will. I can promise you, excuse won't make you do it. It'll make you do the exact opposite. It'll comfort you. It'll tell you that, yeah, you don't need to do this today. You did so much today. Discipline is that friend that will look at you and be like, fuck that. Fuck that. We got so much more to do today. Yeah, you did this, but what about this? This is something that you said you wanted to do, not me. Discipline will hold you accountable. At the end of the day, discipline will hold you accountable. When we start operating from a standard we hold for ourselves rather than the current emotion we're feeling, trust me, we begin to see change take place. We become a little bit better each time we grow in our discipline. So how do we practice it? How do we practice it, Kaino? Well, these are some things that I've done and I've read and I've been able to share with other people that has helped. So take it with a grain of salt or take it full-heartedly, however you want to do it. Break the tasks into manageable steps. When you say you want to run, right? If you're comparing yourself to someone that can run a marathon and you think you're going to go and run a marathon and you haven't ran for X amount of years, trust me, you probably won't get it done. But if you break it down and you make a journey out of it and you see like, okay, 26 miles, 26.2 miles, I think it is for a marathon. Okay, if I break that down, if I just start with, let's just walk. Let's just walk 1 mile. Let's see how that feels. Then you start jogging. Then you start running. You know what I mean? Like you just break it up into manageable Manageable steps, things that you can see fitting for you. But also, what you don't want to do is make it too comfortable. I say manageable as in have it challenge you. If it makes you want to stay in your comfort zone, go a little bit more than that. Always go a little bit more than what is asked of you, whether it's from you or from anybody else. You always are going to be the person that does a little bit more. Every time. Every time. And then stick to a routine. If you don't have one, make one because your routine will be your habit. And your habit will be the reason that you will have discipline. Because if you don't know where you're going, if you don't know what you're doing, then your discipline will be shot. It will be so shot because you don't know what your goal is. You don't have a game plan. You don't have nothing. And so, if your goal, it doesn't have to be super extravagant. It doesn't have to be super detailed. It's just, what do I want? I want to lose weight. How do I lose weight? Okay, I'm gonna just start. I'm gonna just start running X amount of miles. I'm gonna start walking X amount of miles. Start with that. Create a game plan to get started, and then go out and learn. There's so many different ways you can go about it. You can go and research it yourself on Safari, on the internet. You can go on social media and learn from different social media uh, accounts and learn how they're doing it. You can go on YouTube. You can go a bunch of different routes. You can talk to a friend. You can go a bunch of different ways on how to learn to improve your routine. But all of this is a requirement of you to do so that you can help improve yourself. You got to take the actionable steps to not only do the work, but also learn how to improve the work. Okay? You have to learn how to improve the work because doing it is not going to be enough. If you're here today listening to the Power to You podcast, you're here because you're going to do more. You're asking yourself to do more. I'm asking you to do more. And trust me, when you can do that, you separate yourself from the average and you'll stand out so much more and you'll attract people to encourage you, to be with you, and to want to become more for themselves too. And it's just that kind of energy is just so um, it just gravitates you. It pulls you in. It pulls you in. It doesn't push people away. It pulls them in, and it makes them want to be better, and it makes you want to be better. And that's the goal. The goal is to make all of us better. One way or another, we're going to help each other. But the only way, like I said, to help one another is to go out and help yourself. You got to be the one to help yourself because nobody is going to save you unless you choose to save yourself. Okay? All right. Let's keep moving. Set reminders or use accountability tools. Like I said, you can write it in a journal. You can write it in your notes on your phone. You can record yourself so you can let yourself know what the week is going to look like for you. You know, holding yourself accountable and knowing what is going to be happening throughout your week so that you're on the right track and you're mentally preparing yourself for what is to come. You know, so if there's a specific time that you usually do a workout, at least that way, like I got to get this in no matter how I feel. For me, my workouts start at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. Depending on how hard I push the day before, it will fluctuate between 4 or 5 a.m. I work out in the mornings because it challenges me and makes me a little bit better by I don't like getting up early. I don't like getting up early, but I love the idea that it pushes me to do something I don't want to do. If I don't feel like I want to do it, I go and do those things because it makes me better. And that's what I want for you is to find things that makes you feel like, oh shit, man, like I don't want to do that. That's the very thing that you got to go and do because that's out of your comfort zone. That is something that is going to push you to become a little bit more. So your accountability tools and your reminders is going to be a useful thing in your whole process of building that discipline. And yeah, those three things. So I'll repeat it again. Break your tasks into manageable steps. Stick to a routine. and set reminders or use accountability tools. And before we move on to, I think it's number three. Yeah, number three. Before we move on to number three, I just want to end it on discipline with this quote. Discipline is the act of showing up for your garden every day, rain or shine. Discipline is the act of showing up for your garden every day, rain or shine. Okay? Just show up. Just give your best, do your best, and be your best. Okay? All right. Let's go to number three, which is patience. This is also a really good one. This is one that I hold dear to me because that is the one thing I take pride in is my patience. I've learned and I've come such a long way. I feel so bad for anybody that knew me. I would say like what 23 or 24. I don't know. Maybe like 23 and below. Between 18 and 23. Holy shit. I'm sorry if anybody that has been in my life between those time frames. I am so sorry. I was impatient. I was a mess. I was I was a jealous person. I was insecure. I was all these. I was broken. I was a broken dude, and in my brokenness, I felt that I had to make everyone else broken because I needed them to feel what I felt. How fucked up is that, right? But anyway, so patience. Success takes time. Patience is about trusting the process. The importance of delayed gratification is waiting for results and knowing that that's part of the journey. The results is not always going to come as fast as you wish it did, but when you have patience and understanding that the journey is not about how fast you get the result, but knowing that you're doing everything you can to get it, that puts you in a different category of knowing that you will become a whole lot more by just doing that alone. I promise you. So you got to shift your mindset. So I encourage you to shift your focus from immediate results to long-term growth. From immediate results to long-term growth. So what do we need to do? What do we need to do? We need to understand that the process is much more important than the end result. The process is much more important than the end result. So let me ask you a question. How many of us tried dieting to achieve our weight loss goal? How many of us? Right? I, me included. How many of those diet goals didn't work for us? Yeah. Yeah. So it I would say the diet goals and the diet plans that I had, it didn't work for me because what? What do you think? If you're thinking that it didn't work because the diet plan was a bust, no, false, wrong. The diet plan was not the problem. It was my willingness, my lack of willingness, that was the problem. And I wasn't committed. I wasn't willing to sacrifice. I wasn't willing to change. I wasn't willing to grow. I wasn't willing to get out of my comfort zone. We need to focus our attention on the process, again, rather than the end result. Why? Because when you can start falling in love with the process, it doesn't matter what the end result is anymore. Because you're just focused on just getting better. You just focus on getting better. And if you get the result that you were looking for in the end, then that is the bonus. But the real growth in life and the real perspective that I've learned is that when I enjoyed the process more than looking at the end result, I became a little bit more. Why? Because I'm not worried about what happens if I don't get it. I don't care. I'll try again and I'll keep going and I'll keep trying and I'll keep failing and I'll keep going and I'll keep trying and I'll keep failing, and I'll keep going. I'll just keep going, and I'll keep giving my best every single time. And that's a hard person to beat when all the person that wants to do is just focus on their process. If you look at any of the greats, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Muhammad Ali, Conor McGregor, all these big names that I looked up to, or that I look up to, the one quality that they all shared was that they focused on their process. They knew the end result was going to come when it came, but they weren't worried about not getting it. They were worried about what their process looked like. So that's what I focus on. And that's what has been so tremendously helpful for me and how I live my life and how I approach other people and how I can help them. So just if you can grasp that understanding, pause, rewind a little bit, listen to it again, or do your own research and, see different tactics on learning how to enjoy the process. I'm going to make another podcast episode for that because that one's a really good one. But your patience is going to be the key factor on whether you get there or you choose to give up. Whether you get there or choose to give up. Your garden will not grow overnight, but with patience, it will flourish. Your garden will not grow overnight, but with patience, it will flourish. So true. So true. And so, what is one thing that we got to do together? Let me tell you. Stop comparing your garden, my garden, to other people's garden. Comparison, like I said, is the thief of all joy. Why is it important not to compare your progress to others? It's important because to me, if you're asking me, and I'm letting you know, as a friend, from one friend to another, if you continue to keep comparing your progress to someone else's, you're wasting your time, your energy, and your ability to go out and give more for yourself, to become more for yourself. And with all this growth that you do for yourself, you miss out the opportunity to pour into other people and give more to them. So if you want to focus on comparing yourself all the time with other people, complain about what other people have, complain about what other people are doing, and all this stuff, stop the podcast here and leave because this might not be it for you. This podcast, you're listening, you're here today because you chose to want to take a step in the right direction, a new direction, a better direction to make a difference for yourself, to make a difference for other people. You chose that. Choose it today. Become that today because I believe in you more than you may imagine. Trust me, you can do it. I can do it. We can do it. But we have to choose to do it now. Do you understand? I hope you do. All right, let's keep going. So, focus on your growth. Everyone's garden grows at a different pace, and it is important to focus on your own path. You have to know that your path, again, is different from everyone else's. Your challenges, your obstacles, um, you know, your belief system might be all different. You might have siblings, you might have family members that are, related to you, they're blood to you, but they don't think like you. And that's okay. You might all grew up in the same environment, but we all come out different. We all come out different every time. And when we understand that everyone is different in their own way, but that doesn't mean that we're better or worse than them. We're just different. And in our differences, we're able to learn and grow and become more because we can take away and hear each other for what our struggles are and what we're facing and how we're facing it and seeing how that affects them and seeing how it affects us and just making adjustments. All it is for our garden is we just continue to make adjustments to see how our garden and our plants and our life will grow. Everything will come to pass in our bad season, and everything will come to grow in our good season. And we'll have both. If I'm being honest, we're going to have both seasons where it might be a little rough and it might be super good. We don't have control most times of what season we're going to be going through, but we have control of what we choose to do with it. So choose to do the best that you can. Again, just choose the best. Be the best. I'm not saying that you're going to always be your best version every single day, but if you're aware and you're trying and you're doing everything that you can, what more can you ask of yourself? What more can you ask of yourself if you're doing what you can to become better, right? I encourage you to ask yourself this. Have I been distracted by what other people are doing instead of tending to my own garden? Again, I encourage you to ask, have I been distracted by what other people are doing instead of tending to my own garden? If you are someone that is a giver, I can relate. If you're someone that is a giver and you're giving your time, your energy, and you're trying to make sure everyone is doing okay, making sure that everything's all good, because you just got that nature in you that wants to help, that wants to love on others. But when you are so focused on other people's gardens and you don't realize that your garden is dying or your garden needs your attention, what happens to the inside of you? Eventually, you'll burn out. Eventually, you'll break down. Eventually, you'll just feel not enough again. So, what needs to happen is, and I share this a lot, is just imagine a cup. Okay, imagine a cup. The more that you work on yourself, the more that life pours into your cup. The more God pours into your cup. If you believe in God with me, and He pours into your cup, and He pours into your cup by you taking actionable steps to become a little bit more, to learn a little bit more, to become a little bit more. And what happens is when you start pouring your cup into other people's garden, what happens is that your cup becomes empty, and you don't feel, and you feel drained, you feel tired, you feel all these things. But when your cup can be filled by Him, and the overflow that happens, you use that as the thing to help other people. You want to make sure that you're pouring into people based off of the overflow that you have so that you can share with other people rather than people take from your cup. You want to share from your cup. You don't want people to take from your cup. Does that make sense? I really hope it does. Don't waste your energy envying someone else for their garden when you could be watering your own. So this is for the people that is just, again, focused on the things that other people have and what other people are doing. We need to stop. We need to stop and just realize that their garden is not our garden. We can't grow from their garden because that's not even ours to have. Our garden is the one that we are building, the one that we are making, the one that we are investing our time and energy in. Our garden is going to be the reason that other people's garden is going to grow. Our garden has to be the very thing that helps other people grow their garden. So be focused on what you can do for yourself, for your life, and for your better, to get yourself better and in a position that people want to do better for themselves too. That's the real goal for me. And so you got to figure out why you're even building this garden. What is it going to serve for you? What is it going to serve for others? And how is it going to make a positive difference? It needs to be an impactful thing in the right direction. I encourage you to make sure that it is in with all intentions to help each other. We need that. We need that. Everyone is just so caught up in just the I's and the me's and just what I want and what I want to do. And what happened to just wanting the best for others? And so, yeah, I just want to be able to focus on that and just be surrounded by people that have that kind of thinking of, I just want to be there for people. I want to encourage people. And I just want to see everyone win. That's the kind of people I surround myself with. And I encourage you to do the same. So, all in all, the 3 points is consistency, discipline, and patience. Those three things are essential to planting and growing your garden of success. And again, your success is whatever definition you choose to give it. I'm going to give you a call to action, which is I encourage you to take the first step in your journey by focusing on your garden rather than others. I encourage you to take the first step in your journey by focusing on your garden rather than others. And if you don't know what to do with your garden, again, learn, grow, become more. Learn, grow, become more. How? Consistency, discipline, and patience. That's it for me, folks. I just want to say thank you for joining me here today for the Par to You podcast first episode. I hope that there was something that you could take away, something that you've learned, something that you've gained, and something that you can apply. The garden of success is yours to plant, water, and harvest, one step at a time. Okay? Other than that, I'm very happy that you joined me here today. Go out and make a difference for yourself, for your family, and for anybody that you come in contact with. I appreciate you. Till next time. Peace.